was true from a certain point of view.
A prophecy that misread could have been.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Unlearn what you have learned.
Tonight, we look at the frightening experiences of ordinary people whose lives were turned upside down by their beliefs.
Help support this channel financially and help us grow. You can click the subscribe button, click the bell, and you're going to get notifications. You can click the thumbs up. You can click in the comments. You can share with your friends on social media. At the end of my videos, you're going to see recommended videos, and thank you so much for your support.
Earthquakes, famine, anytime you saw anything on the news or anything like that, you always got very anxious and thinking, you know, is Armageddon going to come tomorrow? Bringing it all back. It just makes you feel so angry because you felt so safe here and this was such a familiar place. And now I can pinpoint this place to meaning that I haven't got a career and I haven't got any money, and you know, which if I hadn't been brought up Jehovah's Witness, I probably would do. And I wouldn't be quite so messed up, probably.
They come to your door with a smile and with a suit on while they're holding their children's hands. But there are things within this religion that are dangerous, and the undue influence that can occur on you can happen many years after you've left.
You're very much closed in to this society because you're discouraged from being friends with people who aren't Jehovah's Witnesses. Obviously it's difficult at school. You know, it's hard not to make friends at school, but then you'd have to explain why you couldn't go out with your friends, you couldn't go around their house, you couldn't stay at their house. You weren't allowed to go on school trips that were overnight, anything like that. We were taught that people who weren't Jehovah's Witnesses were evil and that they were controlled by Satan. When you're at school, when you're at work, when you're talking to anybody, you're always thinking, well, Satan is controlling this person, I must keep away from them, I mustn't get involved with them. There used to be very scary pictures of what Armageddon was going to look like, people getting killed, being burnt, anything like earthquakes, famine, that are all in the Bible as being a sign that Armageddon is going to come. So anytime you saw anything on the news or anything like that, you always got very anxious and thinking, you know, is Armageddon going to come tomorrow, and am I a good enough person? You know, have I done enough in the religion to be one of the chosen ones to be saved?
The threat of Armageddon can be quite traumatic, and it's the constancy of that threat and the real belief that unless you follow the teachings that you will be condemned like everyone else to burn in the fires of hell when Armageddon comes.
Home life wasn't great because my father, he would be one person walking into the Kingdom Hall, and the other brothers and sisters thought he was this wonderful man, and then he'd come home and be a nightmare to live with. I was diagnosed with severe depression when I was 17. I was also diagnosed with anorexia. The doctors and therapists I saw all said that there was a link between that and the way I felt in the religion, about sort of having no control over anything, feeling frustrated, not being able to change anything. I know my mum was feeling suicidal at the point where she called the meeting with the elders. It was breaking point for her. She couldn't go on sort of pretending, living this life anymore. And I really think she thought the elders would help her. They wanted to talk to us all together, which was difficult enough, obviously having to tell them what my dad was like in front of my dad.
With most elders, they're not trained in the arts of counselling. And you'll have three men come round. One might be a window cleaner, another one might be working in an office, another one could be a milkman. And there they are, sat there, and they're going to counsel you on what could be a very intricate, complicated issue for you.
All that came out of the meeting was me and my mum being reproved for not being a good enough wife for not being a good enough daughter. And I remember that moment in that meeting, and it was the only time I've ever done anything out of anger. I just got up and stormed out and slammed the door.
It could be a sexual issue. It could be anything. You might be suffering from some form of clinical depression, and you need real medical assistance and help and guidance to get you through it. But these elders, when they arrive, will not have those qualifications to do it. But what they do have is an absolute rock-solid control over you, and they will get what they want.
Re-entering society is very hard because there's a huge gap in your life that you don't want to explain to people. You've not had a career, your CV is kind of empty, you have no money, you have no friends, you have to remake your relationship with your family, and it's a whole process of rebuilding, really from the ground up.
They've known nothing but the cultic experience, where relationships are very, very tightly controlled. They've been very isolated from society, and their voices haven't been much heard.
Myself and my boyfriend, who was a Jehovah's Witness at the time, he wanted to leave, I wanted to leave, but we had to try and find a way of doing it so that we wouldn't get disfellowshipped and lose contact with our families.
They have this one tool, this one weapon of shunning, and they dress it up, misapply scriptures, and then get their policemen, the elders, to police it. And when that shunning happens, it's very real. When I left the organisation, I found it very, very difficult because I was suddenly sort of thrown out on my own. I hadn't even sort of lived a teenage life either, so I was in my 20s and felt like I had to start a whole new life all over again. I found it very difficult to make new friends. You know, my close friends that I'd grown up with and that I'd always known had cut me off in a heartbeat, so I thought, well, why should I bother trying to make friends and trust people when that could happen all over again? I have a very good relationship with my mum. She doesn't go to meetings anymore, and I think the pressure got to her as well. We are very close now. Oh, she is my life. She's all I concentrate on, she's all I do everything for. I'm never going to tell her what to do with her life. I'm always going to give her as many options as possible. I feel a lot of resentment, a lot of anger as well, that those opportunities were taken away from me, and that I feel like I wasted the first 16, 17 years of my life. I mean, I love this job. I love working with the animals. I'm hoping to become a qualified veterinary nurse. That's something I feel I can concentrate on now. And obviously I've got my daughter. You know, I'm going to see her grow up. I think I've just discovered life, really. There's so many possibilities, not just career-wise, but, you know, just how you live your life. It's just having the freedom of choice. I can feel like I can be me now.
I encourage you, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and share this video with others and this channel with others. It helps every time you do that. It actually helps the channel out financially, and it helps us to grow and get in front of others. If you want to connect with us, we invite you to join the conversation. Facebook.com/People of the Free Gift. And until next time, this is Jason from People of the Free Gift, signing off.